slam you fast and hard without warning, or it can secretly steal a life away, cell by cell, breath by breath, over months or years. But no matter how much our culture allures us down the path of youth, vitality, health, and fitness, death will not be denied. It will visit your family. It will visit mine. Hello, my name is Moira Brown. I will be your companion through this DVD. We'll hear stories of loss, courage, and hope from people just like you and me. In just a moment, we'll be introduced to Dr. Kim Christink and others who have confronted death and loss. Kim will be your travel guide on our exploration of this journey called grief. We believe that the stories you'll hear and the issues that will be addressed will be comforting, informative, and will help bring healing to you and your family. If you are experiencing grief, we believe there are 3 essential navigational tools for safe passage through this process: a safe place, safe people, and a clear map for the journey ahead. We've gathered people who personally know what this journey is like, seasoned professionals and individuals and families traveling this road right now. Together we'll explore the road that lies ahead. This is Kim's story. 36-year-old Kim Christink had all that was important to him: a devoted wife, 4 beautiful children, and a successful career as a minister of a large suburban church. Kim had little personal experience with death until he watched his 39-year-old sister Wendy succumb to a long and painful demise as the result of complications from diabetes. 2 years later, almost to the date, Kim learned that Wendy's husband, David, had died of what might be considered a broken heart. Still stumbling through shock, again Kim conducted the funeral service. The very next day, following David's funeral, Kim and his wife Gwen decided to connect with their best friends who were visiting from out of town. They were joined by Gwen's brother Stephen. They decided to take the 6 children swimming. After swimming, the other couple, Kim's wife Gwen and their 10-month-old baby, decided to go on ahead and pick up some dinner on the way home. Kim and Steve took Kim's van with the rest of the children to pick up a gift for a birthday party the boys had been invited to. Over the din of the 5 children under 7 in the back of the van, Kim teased Steve about not having found a wife yet. Steve's response was immediate and to the point: "Where do I find someone like my sister Gwen?" Kim's response was just as quick: "You look under the rubble." His statement was immediately punctuated by the eerie cry of an ambulance siren as it sped past in the opposite direction. It was the flashing lights at the intersection ahead that captured their attention, and then Kim spotted their car.
And I run into the intersection, and my good friend who was driving the car sees me and comes running towards me saying, "Kim, please forgive me, please forgive me."
Kim learns his wife and baby daughter were already on their way to the hospital.
It's all quite slow motion and yet frozen in time.
The facts begin to unfold, telling a tragic story of miscalculation. His good friend Randy, making a challenging left turn, caused an inexperienced 17-year-old driver to freeze. At 85 kilometers an hour, she drives headlong into the passenger side of the vehicle. Gwen and baby Rebecca are violently thrown from the car. With the 5 young children in tow witnessing the events, Kim and Steve rush to the hospital. They stumble in, desperately trying to find out what happened.
It was just pure panic. I don't know how else to describe it. Everything else goes in the background, and it's just panic. Your worst nightmare is right in front of you.
Gwen and the baby are an emergency. Not knowing what else to do, Kim and Steve find a room to pray. Out of the corner of Kim's eye, he sees a man approaching in a white coat, and he already knew.
As soon as you see him coming down the hall, you know. And he says, "Your wife hasn't made it."
Kim gathers around the children to try and explain what has just happened.
Immediately, Jesse, my 7-year-old, starts running out of the hospital. Whew. I'll never forget that. I got to run after him. And he knows what it is. The rest of the kids, they don't understand it, but he knows what it is. And that, it's just a very, very traumatic time.
Baby Rebecca's condition is still critical.
Rebecca was in the hospital for almost a month, unconscious for several days, with some head injury and broken ribs and torn spleen, and so Rebecca became a thing of hope for us, actually. It did not seem like life. It seemed like a movie that I was almost outside of watching it. I didn't feel connected, and that was probably the numbness, the shock that you're in. You're not quite feeling and sensory to all that's happening.
For Kim, healing wouldn't come easily or quickly.
I mean, with sudden death, I was still thinking about David's death and Wendy's death and now Gwen, and so the multiple and complicated aspect of those grieving. And so I didn't have time. I had four kids to take care of, and it took a long time before I gave myself time.
One wrong turn took Kim's wife and critically injured their baby, leaving him to care for 4 children ages 7 to 10 months old, all the while stunned with the agony of grief.
The journey has not been easy. The lessons even more difficult. But together we have endured to celebrate this amazing gift called life. In a very real sense, life is a series of losses. It is with us from the moment we're born until we die. But some losses are more difficult to bear than others, and none so traumatic as death.